Hey there, I am D. What can you say about Batman? I suppose he's the type of character we all want to be. Strong, clever, insightful, fearless, or at best able to make other people fear you. Okay, maybe the last one is just me. Everyone has their own reasons for loving the character. Personally, I don't. Alright. Let me elaborate. Ever heard of the phrase, I've known someone for as long as I can remember? Well, in my case, I've known Batman since before I can remember. I mean, the earliest memory I have of Batman is of a Tom and Jerry parody. And even then, I recognize it as a parody of Batman. In other words, I've never been formally introduced to the character, or rather, I don't remember when I was formally introduced to the character. So whatever my reason is for liking the character, I don't know it. So in that sense, I have no reason for liking him, I just do. Several media have been made in his name. Besides the comics, there's the TV series with Adam West, the animated series, the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher movies, and as you're probably aware, that's where it just stopped. Sure, ever since there have been lots and lots of rumors about a new movie being made, ranging from a versus movie with Superman to a movie starring Keanu Reeves as the titular character, but that's it, just rumors. So until anything official was made, we had to rely on fan films instead. Most of which, one must admit, were much better than anything that ever came out of Hollywood. Including that— No! I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, it took them several years before they finally decided to let Christopher Nolan direct the next Batman movie. The guy who made Memento and Insomnia. One was good, the other wasn't. So I wasn't sure what to expect from this guy, but I'll admit I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the end result. After this, it took them about 4 years until the next one was released. They should have waited longer. Anyway, until then, we had to make do with several other media. And that is where today's book comes in. Enter Batman Dead White by John Shirley. John Shirley? Why does that name sound so familiar? Anyway, before anyone's gonna say anything, this was written before that other movie. I'm sorry, but I can't bring myself to say the title.
Look who's finally turned up, the Dark Knight himself.
Dark Knight. I like that. As I was saying, this was written before The Dark Knight, so any joke one can make about how it's inconsistent with that movie is misplaced. So with all that, let's just sit back, relax, and read Shirley's... Seriously, why is that name so familiar? Let's read Batman's Dead White. I'm not scared of him. The Bat? No way. Lots of guys this side of Gotham, yeah, they're scared of the Bat. But not me. Oh, I'm sure nothing is gonna happen to him. He's not gonna run into this Bat at all. The Feds, puppets of the Antichrist. The Antichrist? Bit of an unusual subject to bring up in a Batman story. I tell you, I saw the Bat myself about 1.5 years ago, a little less, just when he started showing up, before I was working for the Brotherhood. Whoa! The Antichrist, and now the Brotherhood? This isn't 24 or Prison Break, it's Batman! We don't own every cop in town. That Captain Gordon's got his team too. I know very little about police hierarchy, but this book, as mentioned earlier, takes place 1.5 years after the events of Batman Begins, where Gordon became lieutenant. So, within 1 year and a half, less than that actually, Gordon became captain? Something just doesn't seem right here. We had a chop shop set up, 10 new cars waiting to be stripped, and down he comes like a black lightning, man. Wham! That fast! 3 guys go down before the bat lands on the floor. 2 more in the next second. He moved so fast, just like that. And his face, man, he ain't got a human face! Exactly how fast must he be to mistake that for an inhuman face? Oh my god, it's him! Up there, letting us see him against the fog, the moon, spreading his wings for the jump, like a bat shape cut out of the grey sky, his eyes like red holes in the night. Red eyes? I don't remember that from the movie. Then again, it's been over a year, so it's not unreasonable that he would have upgraded his arsenal, so I'll let that slide. Skeev's eyes widened. You ain't human. You'll find that out if you don't tell me what I need to know. The Batmobile was approaching the foot of the dock. Does the Batmobile have remote controls? Or maybe I'm not reading this right, and maybe I'm just drawing my conclusions too soon. Batman tapped another stud on his gauntlet. The coded combination of taps told the Batmobile to track him and meet him with close timing. If this were tied with Burton's movie, I'd get it, but I don't think the Nolanverse would allow for such a thing. Batman jumped directly onto the back of the Batmobile, which had gone into amphibious mode on striking the water. You know, I'm beginning to think this has nothing to do with Nolan's movie, despite being advertised as such. Add this to the list of false advertised books. Skeeve mentioned someone called Big White, aka White Eyes. Now you're probably wondering, who the F is White Eyes? Well, he's a white race supremacist. But what you're really asking is, why introduce a new villain? Why not use a well-established Batman villain? Well, personally, I don't blame him. You see, he knew that Nolan was gonna use any of those well-established villains in later movies. So, he went on ahead and created an original villain. But if that was his reasoning, then why did he write a story that completely contradicts the movie?
I took the liberty of mentioning the event to a lady who called for you. She said she knew you from overseas.
What lady? I'm not interested in any dates, Alfred. Insert your own Rachel Dawes joke here.
Very good, sir. If Taya calls again, I'll tell her you're not at home.
Bruce turned and stared at Alfred. Did you just say Taya? I'm guessing he means Talia. The only problem being is that she's this man's daughter. So rather than keep the name and give the character some alternate history, he keeps the character but changes her name so she won't have to explain why she never mentions Ra's al Ghul. Lazy writing at its best.
You back off from a challenge, Skeeve? You ran away from a homosexual lunatic. He wears tights and a cape. The man is an homosexual for certain.
Even if I was planning to, I don't have to make that ambiguously gay duo joke, because the book is pretty much doing it for me. He forgot all about it when the cell phone rang. Not his personal cell phone, the special one. It had been simply left on his desk one day, in an envelope that also contained a piece of paper showing the Bat insignia. No doubt a reference to the Adam West series. The only problem being that cell phones can easily be tapped into, not to mention that cell phones have to be registered before they can be used. So unless Bruce Wayne owns his own phone company, I don't think Batman would be so stupid.
You sneaky son of a whore,
White Eyes roared. You afraid to fight me without a gun? Batman asked. Without your little troop of Neanderthals backing you up? Neanderthals? This sounds like something a 10-year-old would say, but not Batman. White Eyes rushed again and Batman feinted left, then dodged right when White Eyes went for the feint. Batman was dimly aware that, in the background, the security guard was up, staggering towards his fallen pistol. I help, Batman! Don't help, Batman thought as he set himself to kick White Eyes in the jaw as the big man started to get up, but this time White Eyes rolled away and swept up the centrifugal gun, cackled in triumph as he turned it toward the security guard. No! Batman shouted. No! No doubt Batman would save the man, but actually shouting no as he does it? And again, this is all I've got on Batman. So maybe I just don't know him well enough to judge. 1 minute later, Cormac and Gordon were riding in the back of the ambulance, with Batman lying on the gurney between them. Wow, how will he get out of that situation?
Answers tomorrow night, same time, same channel.
Yeah, I hate it when they do that too. The ambulance drivers, Ed and Berdu, two brothers from Texas. A funny-looking, low-to-the-ground black car was pulling up in front of them, blocking their route. Then, all of a sudden, moving in a way no car should naturally be able to move. All four wheels turning 180 degrees at once, it whipped sideways to block the road completely. The wing doors of the strange, low, oddly finned vehicle raised up. They could see right into the car. There was no driver.
You can't drive, friend,
said the cop to the bad feller.
Won't have to,
the masked feller said. What is this? Japanese tokusatsu? Where even vehicles have minds of their own? This book seems to be borrowing elements from everything except the movie it's supposed to be tying into. And even if you set that aside, Batman is an escape artist. Even if he had such high-tech at his disposal, he would only use it as a last resort. Wait, he was shot. Okay, so maybe this does count as a last resort. He wasn't going to tell Cormac about the Wayne Enterprises satellites, with more than one function. Their spy functions known only to him and Alfred. Nor would he tell him about the RPVs, the remote piloted vehicles that sometimes surveils the city for him. I don't even know where to start, but I'll try. First, when and how did Batman manage to get satellites into orbit that fulfill these functions? 2. These RPVs, by having them, forgetting for a moment that it's a little too high-tech, even for Batman, this book is basically saying that having Big Brother watching you is not such a bad idea at all. Third, it'll later turn out that these RPVs are mechanical bats. I wish I was making that up. It's almost like this Batman can't do anything by himself and needs machines to do all the work for him. What, does he also have a machine that puts on the suit for him? And even if you could accept that he'd have a need for mechanical bats, regular bats have always been helpful. What does he need mechanical bats for? Uh-oh, Batman uttered. And why does Batman sound like a 5-year-old most of the time? Does Shirley even know anything about Batman at all? You're a demon thing is what you are, Corino sputtered. Just like Skeeve was saying.
Skeeve was right, Batman said. But you and I already knew that when I visited you in your dreams, in another form.
Batman assumed a sick puppy like Corino had more than his share of nightmares. You're him! The one from my dream! Okay, now I'm convinced. I have heard this name before. I mean, there's something so familiar about this. I just wish I could place it.
And in other news, a UFO has been reported over eastern Pennsylvania this evening.
This one is all black, including the windows, has no markings, except it's got wings shaped like the wings of a bat. Stopped caring long ago.
Unauthorized aircraft, identify yourself, over.
This is Batman,
He said into the radio. There was a pause, and then,
Batman is under recognized flight authorization.
this is interesting actually. I mean, in real life, Batman would encounter a problem like this one. Wouldn't we love to see him get out of this?
I'm going to escort you to an airstrip where you will land, or I'll be forced to open fire.
Sorry,
Batman interrupted. No can do. And with Batman suddenly sounding like a surfer dude, I don't care how he gets out anymore. 7 minutes later, with the Batplane locked up and set for automatic self-defense, I know, just go with it, and a black ninja-style motorcycle lowered from its hold. What exactly is a ninja-styled motorcycle? The art of a ninja is to blend in. So in this case, a ninja-styled motorcycle would have a bat motif. Well, then just call it what it is. A bat cycle. Not that that sounds any less ridiculous, but at least you'd be accurate. This wasn't Gotham City. It wasn't even New York or Metropolis. Metropolis, as in Superman's hometown. Why not? The movie didn't give any indication that Metropolis even exists, but then we already know that this book has nothing to do with that movie. But regardless, this book stinks. The story's not interesting, the villain is someone you expect from Prison Break and the like, and it's obvious that this writer knows nothing about Batman at all. I don't know, maybe I should just take a break from reading. Maybe this movie will make me feel a little better. Screenplay by John Shirley? I knew it! I knew I've heard the name somewhere before. Wait a minute. A villain obsessed with burning things down, an unnatural animal as an aid, the uncharacteristic choice of words. Now I know why it didn't feel like a Batman story at all. Because it's not a Batman story, it's a Crow story. This actually explains quite a lot. I mean, if it was supposed to be a Crow story originally, then all supernatural elements had to be replaced by high-tech gear. In other words, this would have made a whole lot more sense if it were published in context as a Crow. But instead we got something that's supposed to be the one, but they tried to make it something else and just became completely senseless instead. This was D. I'm signing off.